morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on wherever you're at. This is the what was that a little too quick for you?
I'm surprised you did that well so far. I'm sorry. Keep going. You're doing well.
Yeah, no, I didn't stumble. It's I don't know. I got one right. That's 1 for 17 so far, right? So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, no matter where you are in the world, to another truly international show. This week, this is MMN presents the ConnectWise PitchIT vendor spotlights. Today will be a little bit different. Instead of having two contestants, we have one, but we made sure they were as far away on the opposite side of the planet as humanly possible. What about you, Sean? What have you been up to, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I was in Columbus last week, which, by the way, and I told Jerry from ASCII this, one of the best locations he's had ASCII at. I don't think it gets enough of its due credit because there's so many cool things there to do outside of the place. Because sometimes you go to conferences, they're in a industrial park of hotels, right? So that's all you have. This literally, You walk out the door. There's restaurants, there's restaurants, bars. There's a cigar shop a half a block from there, which is,
oh, that's why you were there. Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, I didn't go to ASCII. I went to the Timber Box. Yes.
So speaking of ASCII, you guys were doing some stuff there with ASCII. You want to walk us through what this is?
Yeah. So ASCII, Jerry, and team Jesse, they were gracious enough to. I spoke with them at the end of last year, early this year. We talked about how we can leverage people like them to be able to get these bootstrap start vendors into their space, right? You get them the recognition, get them to the conferences and whatnot. So they not only did they make it more cost effective for bootstrap companies to actually be sponsors, they also created a whole new group of inventory to give them maximum exposure at their reception party at booths. Yeah, totally on its own, so that ASCII, they're a great organization. And so we finally, after the trial and error, after a couple months before we went to tell the world we did this, we wanted to see how it worked out. And it's worked out really well so far. So they released the press release last week to let everybody know that it exists, because again, in the efforts of exactly what we're doing here with these guys on your show is getting that awareness, getting the message out, letting people find who they are and start talking to them.
So the question I really have here is, there's a lot of Columbuses. I just realized this.
Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, that one. You say that like that's the one. I mean, Columbus, New Mexico aren't good Columbuses to hold an ASCII? Is that what we're trying to do?
I'm sorry. We're the home of the Ohio State Buckeyes are in Columbus, Ohio.
There you go.
See, there.
All right.
A wealth of knowledge, and there we go.
You are a wealth of something. You're a plethora of
something.
Panache.
I like panache. Wow.
Panache.
Have you been reading books lately? It's like really good. Like
they have these new things called Google boxes. I don't know if you've seen them. You plug them in, and you can play Flappy Birds on them. Yeah.
Oh.
Why is your case the same color as my case? What the hell?
It's blue. I don't know. I mean,
that's so creepy, dude.
Stop looking at my Amazon list.
Oh no, I don't want to see anything in your any shopping history whatsoever. What I do want to see though is we have some guests from. We have our featured guest today, our vendor spotlight, and we're not just one person. We have two because it's that good. You want to introduce our guest here?
Do we want to talk about what PitchIT is first? Don't we want to recap that real quick?
I mean, I guess I could say this is going out on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and it's recorded. And if you have to step away for any reason, you can always come back and watch the whole thing. But make sure you watch it because these vendors are awesome. And then talk about, Sean, what is PitchIT? What have you guys been doing? Yeah, we could do that. Go ahead.
Yeah. Don't worry. I'll keep you on track. I'm looking at the show notes. Somebody has to look at the show notes.
That's all right. The camera's still running. Go for it.
Hold on. Let me have a drink real quick.
Oh, man.
So, by the way, I am drinking Lagavulin 16, which is phenomenal.
Nice. I'm drinking water. So
I had that earlier.
I'll take it.
I had water earlier. Okay. PitchIT. Very simply put, PitchIT is in its 5 years of happening at this point. It is a shark. Thank you, Tony Francisco. Finally showed up to one of our events. This is the first one Tony's watched of us, just so we're clear. Thanks, Tony.
I mean, I talked to him several times a week. I just saw him
No,
on
no,
camera like 2 hours ago.
I didn't say anything about all that. I said the first one he's watched with us collectively.
Oh, yes.
Thanks for
Okay.
being supportive. Anyway, back to what I was saying before I was really interrupted by Tony Francisco. PitchIT is a Shark Tank like competition sponsored by ConnectWise. It's 5th year in a running right now. It is dedicated to finding all the best emerging vendors that are there to do two main things: be complementary to ConnectWise's ecosystem community, and most importantly, though, is support the mission of the MSPs. That's what it's about. Now, I mentioned it's a competition. What I mean by that, and that is a competition for these vendors. Their goal right now, as of right this moment, is to get through the preliminaries that are taking place next month. Okay, to be one of the 3 finalists. If they get to be one of the 3 finalists, the first they get a victory right there. They get a reward by getting a free booth at IT Nation Connect. But most importantly for them too,
Damn. How do I sign
right?
up for that? Because we pay a pretty penny every year. Wait a minute.
Right,
Hold on.
right. You're and with prime real estate at the conference too. By the way, this year, like ridiculous real estate.
That's like by the bathroom. Because I'm saying at times, sometimes that's helpful.
Well, yes, the bathroom, and there's a water fountain next to it, so people have to keep coming back. You know, they hear the water. So smart,
emptying
right?
and rehydrating. You guys are thinking of everything.
Do what we got to do, man. I mean,
That's worth it right there.
Right? And so they get the free booth, but then also the most important piece of all this is that they get to pitch live on stage in front of the audience to win. Grand prize is 70 grand. Second place is 30 grand. Third place are cups with our faces on them.
Okay. It's better than the steak knives. I mean,
and steak knives.
And steak, a cup and steak knives. I mean, come on, that's just phenomenal.
We're going all out at their place. I mean, so nobody goes without.
You're a man of the people, Sean. You're like,
as you know,
you're Robin Hood. Not like Robin of Locksley. I mean, like Robin Men in Tights. But
I've worn tights. It's fine.
Yeah, I've seen it. So we know what PitchIT is. We know what we're doing. I say we find out about the people we're doing this with today.
I agree.
Who's going to get those knives or that that ConnectWise ITNC booth in prime location, which is pretty nifty. Or maybe they give it to me. We'll see.
Wow. Anything else you like?
I have a list. So but I would like to introduce our guest. Can you introduce our guest, please?
Yes, absolutely. And you mentioned it being an international show, and that it is. These guys, well, it's 7:13 Eastern Standard PM for you and I. For them, I think it's probably like 9 a.m. for all I know. I don't even know what time it is.
I think it's like 9 a.m. 3 days from now in the future. Something along those lines.
I think we're having IT Nation Connect 2025 right now for them.
Nice.
Right. So without further ado, I want to bring on the founder of BeeCastle and the head of product and go-to-market at BeeCastle, David Wood and Matt Campion. How you guys doing?
Great. Hey, Sean, how are you?
Doing well. How's the weather?
Great.
With coffee.
Great. So I'm here in Sydney. We're not on the whiskey. It's just a coffee. Maybe it's an Irish coffee. I don't know. Perhaps. Matt is up in Byron Bay, a much more popular place. He's up there with all the celebrities. That's kind of how Matt rolls.
So you're like the Ryan Seacrest. So you're like the Ryan Seacrest of Australia. Is that what we're talking about here, or what?
No, it's the Hemsworth. So the Thor, the land of Thor, and those guys. Yeah.
I mean, there's Thor, and then there's the other Hemsworth. Like notoriety comes from Miley Cyrus, but okay. So you're the rock star, because I was wondering when you came in and you said I need some walk-on music, I need some major hip hop going. I'm like, dude, we'll do what you got to do. We got it.
But I wasn't aware.
No, that's a good way.
And to be clear, the other Hemsworth was also in Hunger Games. He was pretty good there.
I think
so. Like saying the other Baldwin brother, dude. It's like the other Hemsworth was in. When you have to say then you know damn well.
There's like 6 Baldwin brothers. That's really different.
Right. There's Alec, and then the rest. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. Fine, and there's Chris, and then the rest. Yeah.
And there's Charlie Sheen, and there's Emilio Estevez. I got it. Okay.
Oh, so there we go. Dr. Zoidberg said he's now here for the heckling, Sean. So you should feel good now.
I feel more at home instantly. Thank you. So let's talk about you guys. Let's start one at a time. I figure we should probably start with you, David, since you are the founder of BeeCastle and all. So let's talk about you, where you came from, and why the hell you did this.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you again. Thank you to ConnectWise for hosting us. So, in terms of where this came from, I was working at a little bank known as Bank of America, and I was there for like 10 years. And we had this problem about managing relationships. And I got the bank's approval to start building an algorithm, just a simple mathematic algorithm that would help us keep on top of our many client relationships and think about how do we do better out of that. And from solving that problem, we started thinking about analytics, data visualization, and what's the output of that. And the output is what do you do? What is the next best action? What is the one thing you can do right now that is going to give you maximum value for you and your clients? And that's where it started. And since then, we've grown to this kind of beast that we are, which is something which looks at a whole multitude of, if you like, data for MSPs, and just tries to focus on that one little thing, which is what is the action you can take that gives you the most value across many areas: account management, account profitability, cross-sell, upsell, a variety of areas. And I think the beautiful thing about data analytics is, you can just keep adding, keep problems that that need solving. So that's us. So that's where it came from.
Nice. Okay, so question: where were you when you worked for Bank of America? Where were you living at that time?
Sydney, yeah, or on a
So-
plane, really.
so-
Seat 3C, I think.
So even the land down under, you want to be part of America. I just want to make sure I understand that.
Yeah, definitely,
Okay.
definitely. Yeah, I have strong ties even now.
Fair enough. All right, Matt, to you. Tell me, head of product and go to market. That's a lot. So maybe you can unpack the fact of how you're head of product and the go to market. Is that go to market in business or go to market in product development?
Yeah, sure. So, in terms of head of product, and we're a very collaborative team. So, in terms of products, that's something that I own, and I work collaboratively with Hamish Rickaby, our CTO and other co-founder as well, and guiding that roadmap. We are very close with our customers as well. We have we call them our PAC, Product Advisory Committee. We really strongly believe in, putting the MSPs and their success and their problems that we're solving at the heart of pretty much all that we do from a product perspective. Their success is our success. So we have that product sort of led approach from the customer feedback loop. And a lot of our features are customer driven. So that's really sort of the product side. On the go-to-market side, I definitely work collaboratively with David and Hamish and others in the team, but responsible for sales, customer success, and partner-led channels as well. And obviously, we're very close with our ConnectWise colleagues here in Australia, which has been fantastic.
Awesome. And actually, hey, Ray, there's a really good question right there from Dr. Zoidberg, actually. So let's hurry up and get it while we can before he ruins himself. You mentioned that you integrated with us, which obvious, and Autotask, also good, and Halo. So what was the decision-making in your roadmap for this?
Yeah. So interestingly, where we came from, we had this concept of relationship analytics, because we believe that if you have good relationships, then it's a mutually beneficial outcome for you and your client, i.e. you can sell them more, but they can talk to you more about what they really want. You can problem solve together. It's a genuine win-win, not just a enhancing revenue type strategy. But strangely enough, we were working with Ingram Micro, and Ingram started using us for that reason, because really about data automation. There's no input into BeeCastle. It just hoovers up data, munches it up, and throws you out results. And they had a problem just with manual data input, which was causing inaccuracies and problems. So they started using it. And then they got us into MSPs. And that's kind of how the door opened. And even one of their senior account executives left Ingram and joined BeeCastle. And it's through that process that we kind of dug into the world of the channel. And of course, we started with ConnectWise being the biggest and most dominant player. And the experience with ConnectWise has been amazing. And we're still frankly scratching the surface of where we go with ConnectWise. But there's many levels of I guess relationships with the CW team. Autotask is a natural second. I don't think anyone would debate that in terms of market share and where we go from there. I think the real question is why did you then go with Halo? And interestingly today, breaking news, we've announced integration with Xero, an accounting firm. So you might say, what the heck's going on there? But the answer is on Halo is it was, our integration team, which is growing, basically found it quite easy to do the Halo integration. So it was just a natural add-on. And we think they're quite innovative and a bunch of stuff to do there. We also look at ConnectWise and I guess Datto, Autotask, and these are both now broad churches. It's not just a PSA. I mean, these are large platforms doing a multitude of things. So that works for us. There's other things we can do. So yeah, we will continue to add PSAs. But as we announced today, we've got Xero on board. So there are some MSPs in the world that do not use a PSA. And how do we help them? How do we help them with account management and a bunch of other things? So you'll see more from us going forward in terms of other integrations.
Okay, so question then, based off of that, the other part of the question you had asked was like, what's your target MSP client look like? And from you talking about Xero and then also every other integration, it sounds like you run the gamut of sizes of MSPs. Am I wrong by saying that? From a small shop to a large shop doesn't really make a difference?
Yeah, so the way we think about that, and I think there's a question in the chat there about some free stuff we offer.
Oh, we're getting there. Don't worry. We'll get there.
But effectively what we do is for a small MSP, time poor, clients hassling them, lots of tickets, stuff, going on. They do not want a big integration. They do not want the hassle and the expense of something that's going to take up time. So what we do with them, we provide an out-of-the-box solution. It's one click. Just integrate your ConnectWise and boom, and we give you something that you can get on and use. Multiple all the way through to, if you like, an enterprise MSP, which I know Matt and the team were very busy for the last few hours. And for that, they use a lot of the, if you like, out of the box stuff, but there is some more configuration that they need, and we offer that as a service as well. So yeah, it's the gamut.
Okay, and then coming back around, there was a question about QuickBooks Online. Do you do that? Do you have QuickBooks
Not yet, but that is on the roadmap. So once we bed down, and the way we work typically is we have a product advisory committee. So we have a bunch of friendly MSPs that we kind of throw burgers and beers at, and then they review our stuff, and then they criticize it, and then we evolve. Yeah, wow, come on in.
Sign up for burgers and beers.
Yep.
I'm in.
Yeah, you're in.
Ray likes burgers and beers.
I like
burgers.
The breaking announcement. I mean, forget the
right.
Xero
We give free burgers and beers. I mean, where am I?
You're in.
Yeah, you're in. We're like never, Ray. We're never invited to the good things. I swear to God.
I'm sending the invite now.
Yeah. What? Was it an imaginary keyboard?
It was. Yeah. It was an air keyboard. Yeah.
You didn't get it, Sean? I got the invite, dude. It's right here.
The only reason you got that is because your head is so large, you receive reception from over there with nothing. Please don't put your big. Oh, there's his Aussie hat for you guys. Look,
this is my kangaroo hat.
Your kangaroo.
Nice. I got my hat as well. Yeah, this is my
guys.
83 kangaroos had to die to make that hat. The size of his head.
But and I've named the kangaroo Jack. I'm assuming the kangaroo's name was Jack. But yeah, this was Michael Priest brought this all the way over from Australia when he visited for MSP GeekCon.
And to be clear, by Jack, he means that's the family name Jack. There's a bunch of them involved in that. Oh, 82. Their last name is Jack. Okay, so there are questions coming about here, talking about big data and what's going on. So let's talk about at the very core, what do you do? What is it you're solving for ultimately? Remove big data is a conceptual thing, right? So what is it you're really solving for at the end here?
Yeah. Look, there's really. Oh, you can go, Bob, if you want.
Yeah, look, we're really solving for the problem where you have disparate data MSPs are time poor, and they need insights to grow their business. So we connect data from M365 automatically, and then we, as David said, we bring in data automatically from the PSA. So BeeCastle is, many of our customers refer to us as one pane of glass for insights, and insights, actionable insights. So we save them time, help them make money, improve relationships, grow revenue, and increase profitability. Over to you, David.
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. So just think of it in 3 buckets: is relationship first, because that's kind of the core thesis of everything we do is around account management. Then, as Matt said, and if you get into the weeds of what we do with our cross-sell, upsell, and white space tools, increasing sales, which is very important for everybody. But then, of course, it comes back to profitability. No point growing for growth's sake. You've actually got to make some money. So that's what we do.
Agreed. Okay. And so you're talking about making money, you're talking about relationships. Now, in an MSP, relationships take place on multiple levels, right? So, and the first question I would say is, are you dealing with client success, or are you sales tool, or what are you ultimately?
Yeah, it's a good question. So what we think about that in the context of an MSP is it's not business development. That's the first thing. Okay. So it's about existing customers that you have. Within those existing customers, it's about account management is how we see it. So, and then maybe just to sort of back up real quickly. So just to answer the question before that answer is, QuickBooks is coming, but it won't happen until we bed down zero and the burgers and beers people that give us a tick, and they haven't given us a tick yet. So we might need to give more burgers and beers. So that is on the roadmap.
So if I hold out, I get more burgers. So if I play hard to get, I get more burgers and beers. What you're telling me?
Yeah, and
Sean,
people do that.
You've never played hard to get in your life, dude. Let's not pretend. Let's not pretend. All right.
Listen, I'm learning. Okay, shut up. I'm learning about this now.
Well, then we got to do this.
But I have people here that want to learn. They want to learn about what the workflow looks like in ConnectWise.
Are you sure they don't know about burgers and beer?
Sean, we'll do another session about burgers and beer another time, dude.
All right, fine.
Maybe related to that question, Sean, though, is kind of what we offer, and I guess the business is evolving quite quickly because we effectively listen to what MSPs tell us, and then we're building for them. So people can reach us anywhere and say, "I've got a problem," and if enough people have that problem, we'll build it. The latest, I think, thing we've released in terms of the product offering is there are 3 tiers. The first tier, you don't need to integrate your PSA. You can just jump on. It's completely free, and that's benchmarking. So how do you sit versus the universe of other MSPs? How's your growth? How's your percentage of MRR versus non-recurring revenue? How do I sit? And that's important because MSPs need to know, where do I sit, and then what should I prioritize? And based on what's important, I'm going to do something about it.
Where is this data coming from that they're seeing where they sit?
So we have a variety of data inputs. So we have obviously what we see for our platform. We have thousands of users, and so we collect that data. We run surveys. We do market research ourselves. So we collect that data, and then we anonymize that data. And so that's how we can tell you kind of where you sit. So anyway, that version of benchmarking is completely free, and you don't need to integrate your PSA. The next level up is also free. We call that Profit Track. But you do need to integrate your PSA in order to get that data. And that's a range of dashboards and some profitability analysis and some sort of client tiering. It's really interesting stuff. And a lot of, I would say, MSPs that are still in the range of 1 to 5 million in terms of gross turnover find that incredibly valuable because they probably haven't sat down and said, gosh, which of my clients should be platinum, silver, or bronze, and where should I spend my time, and where's a churn, and there's a bunch of interesting stuff from there. And then the third bucket, of course, is how we exist and have to pay for Matt's lifestyle in Byron Bay, and that of course is the paid version.
That's fair.
You get the money for the hamburgers. That makes sense,
right? I agree about I'm playing hard to get, maximizing my burger retention. So, but onto the actual piece of something that you said about this all, and actually from the question even about the workflows themselves, if you're talking about 3 different levels of working with you guys, where does the workflow come into play with the PSA? Is that in the third one you mentioned, or is it in the second one? Where does it begin? Because I know the first one, obviously, no PSA. You were very clear about that. So does that start at the second level or the third level or what?
I think it's the third level, but Matt, do you want to take that one? I can jump in if you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we talk about workflow, we really sort of have what we sort of call those actionable insights. So as an example, you're right, Sean, it is in the third level. We have our white space matrix, which is hugely valuable for our customers. They can see what they have sold and what they haven't sold to their customers. From looking at that, what they haven't sold, so what within the white stack is possible, they can actually click into it's just under, thanks, Ray. Yeah, it's just under solution. They can click into a white space matrix on a square and say, for Acme Co, they haven't bought, cybersecurity. They can actually action that from there, create an opportunity, which then pushes back into their PSA. So, hey, that's a $10,000 opportunity. I can identify and push it from BeeCastle back into the PSA. So that workflow is embedded and threaded throughout BeeCastle. So we really, our North Star is any insight, we always want to tie to an actionable and measurable outcome and action. So yeah, we have customers, identifying and finding a bunch of, thousands of dollars of new opportunities just from within their existing account management matrix of customers.
Okay. So now let's talk about workflows in general too, because back to the whole persona who uses your product, right?
Yep.
Workflows, they vary per sales, account management, whatever, right? So, and it sounds like you guys are CRM, borderline, QBR, borderline client success.
There's two personas, to be honest with you. You can kind of just simplify it, right? There's the account manager who gets in the day and says, what the hell am I going to do today? What is the best thing I can sell? What is a great fit for my client? I don't want to be pushing something that's not appropriate or not helpful to them. And my heart of hearts, I'm a service provider. I'm not here to sell. I'm here to provide a solution. So, let's help that account manager do the best job and be most efficient as possible. So that's one, if you like, persona we care a lot about. The other one is the manager or the owner of the MSP that needs to make a bunch of strategic decisions and needs to see exactly what's going on in his business and with the clients. And they're effectively the two people we care about. Everyone else we don't care about. That's not true. We do. We care a lot. We're a caring firm.
It sounds like you care a lot, actually. You sound very debonair and very sincere. So you're saying that
burgers and caring a lot. Is that what we're going with?
Did you say Karen? Karen's awesome. She's cool.
Caring.
I'm loving that hat, Ray, by the way.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Don't indulge.
But he recognizes good taste.
Dude, I feel like your new name is Yoder.
I've been called Amish already.
Right. I mean, seriously, Yoder, come on. Shouldn't you be doing chores right now? I mean, technology, you guys can't, and your people can't use technology.
But neither can you. So it's a win-win.
I can, but you're not allowed to. It's against the Amish faith. You're not allowed to touch it. Anyway.
All right. Let me ask this. Okay. Let me ask about the PitchIT experiences so far.
Okay. Sorry,
because you guys did this. Now I'm on track, sir. So you guys did this with Ingram. They introduced you to the MSP market. Whatchamacallit. And so you decide you work with Connect, you integrate with ConnectWise, you're in this PitchIT thing. How is that when you first joined from Ingram introducing you to MSPs to now going through PitchIT? Has any of it changed your perception of the MSP channel?
Massively, because there's a few real, I think, interesting dynamics around MSPs. And the first thing that we've observed about MSP is, and I'm an MSP, if you like, customer and user, and I integrate, I work with MSPs all the time, but I'm not an MSP. And being an MSP, I've noticed is a couple of things. One is they're quite distrusting and suspicious, and And their primary objective is to provide the best service to their clients. It's actually not to make money. Now, of course, we want to make money, but a higher priority is integrity, cyber safety, making sure their clients are successful. And often they put their clients ahead of themselves. In fact, almost all times they do that. So I think the first thing is getting in the zone of how an MSP thinks about themselves and their clients is super important. And I think what we found is, it's just taken us some time to get in that zone. But fortunately, in terms of our values and how we think about things and, how we roll, basically, it's meshed really, really well. And we have a large number of very, very loyal MSP clients. I think PitchIT has been really, really important to expand that reach and expand that awareness and effectively expand the discussion set that we're having with MSPs and channel partners. So it's been great for us to sort of, if you like, fan out and see more people.
Agreed on all the above. It's okay to say you want to make money, so we're clear. I mean, that's what these guys are in business for too.
Yeah, of course.
And I totally agree with what you say as far as the distrusting part, but it's not because of being distrusting in a way of like malicious intent. It's more because you're talking to business owners that are trying to get their stuff done. And when you're talking in the MSP space, their technology, they have they're high maintenance to technology because they're tech people. So they put you on a different pedestal and a different set of standards, regardless, right? No matter what you provide. As soon as you're a tech company selling to an MSP, you have no choice but to adhere to the scrutiny that follows, right? Because they are. But I think the best part about it is you mentioned integrity.
Just on that, I mean, you know what? The initial beers and burgers was quite traumatic because people had a lot of beers, not much burgers, and because they're all tech experts and they're dealing with the best software in the world, they're throwing tomatoes and shit, excuse my French, at us. And, it was crazy.
I think that's English and you're doing fine. Don't worry about that.
It was a rapid acceleration for us, but working with our partners. And I just can't tell you how grateful we are for our product advisory group, that PAC group, to help us get there.
I love that. I think I like that you've picked up advocates, and partners, because actually how Ray and I became friends was he was my client and he became one of my sounding boards and he was one who gave me input, and it was him and a bunch of other people. And this is well over a decade ago of us doing this. And we became very good friends and worked together later too. And now we do these together now. Right. Yeah. So I find that if you develop a good, strong relationship, you develop this, you build this rapport, you have years of advocacy together, and in this space, MSP advocacy is more important than anything else. There's nothing that ConnectWise can say that could surpass what the community of MSPs will say about you. That's just the truth. So I applaud you for even considering that.
Yeah. And look, that's that is 100% like what we're finding and part of our roadmap going forward as well, right? So, not only are we sort of building for what we have now, I think within, the community, the industry, we're all, grappling with all the use cases of AI and all these type of things. So, we're very excited about our roadmap ahead and using a lot of these technologies and applying it into the values of how we can help the MSPs.
So again, real quick, I'm sorry, Ray. I see you got timer up too, ready to go. So you had said, because you're doing this and the evolution of benchmarking and sales and growth is changing all the time, and the introduction of AI, is there anything on the roadmap involving the AI aspect for you all?
Yep. So we use AI. We use collaborative filtering for a couple of areas. One is the next best action of who you should call, who you should pick up the phone to today. Sounds simple, but if you think about us looking at every single interaction that you have had, you might have a company of 1,000 people talking to 10,000 clients, and we pull every email, phone call, Teams meeting, calendar invite. We check if you had lunch, dinner, coffee. If we put all that and distill that down to one next best action, obviously we need to use a bit of AI. There's a lot of data. The second one is on white space, where we look at spending patterns, and we look at basically $4 billion worth of data we've actually looked at so far, and we go back 5 years. These spending patterns move and change, but we distill that down to a recommendation of, hey, this looks like an appropriate product to pick up the phone about for this client at this time, and we use AI for that. Now that is going to go second and third generation very soon. We're actually just hiring some more PhD people in the data science field to help us take that to the next level, because what you can do now is the acceleration of the feedback loop has effectively gone 10 times. So that allows you to make a better recommendation and a more, if you like, holistic recommendation.
Got it. I like that. Okay, Ray, I'm sorry. I'll let you get back on track.
Thank you, sir. So we're at.
So one more thing. No, I'm kidding.
That's all right. That's all right. So anyway, so what I was saying. No, I'm kidding.
That's it. I'm going to the chat now.
There you go. So now that it's that time where you have to give your elevator pitch. That's the whole point of the PitchIT thing, right? That you got to condense it down. You have a few seconds with somebody in the elevator, and you need to get their attention, tell them why your company is interesting, but also don't bore them to death. So Matt, David, who's going to be doing this?
Be me.
I was not looking. I'm sorry. Who's it going to be?
David?
Oh, there
David.
you go.
Yeah.
All right. So we will put you on the left when the timer starts.
How long have I got?
13
I know, right?
seconds,
It's all
sir.
you, buddy.
30 seconds, man. So when the timer starts, it's all you. And go.
BeeCastle does three things, the three most important things. It helps you with relationships using data, and relationships solve a multitude of problems for people. It'll help you increase sales if you're an MSP, but it'll help you increase them in the right way, with the right products for the right people. And ultimately, all of that helps you increase profitability. The main thing about BeeCastle, the one thing to keep in mind is a ton of the stuff is free.
Everybody's muted.
Oh, you muted me.
I had to,
And-
I had to cut you off. You were past the 30
You're
seconds.
past
Oh,
30 seconds.
Yeah,
Sorry.
man.
Although
It's
you
all
said,
good.
you kind of said what you needed to say in the very beginning, because Ray's
Yeah.
gonna say what do you think. You already had said it. You were just trying to pour on the icing because you thought it was more, and it wasn't, because you actually covered what you needed to do. I think people think that the pitch is supposed to be the entire book, but the pitch is exactly what it is. It's the beginning of the book to say the synopsis, and that's it. And it's the take for it's clickbait for the further conversation.
Sean, what do you think of this, of Dowlin's methodology? Instead of condensing the pitch, just keep a captive audience.
Wait, so you know what? I agree. If you can make an impression and you got to keep them hostage, sometimes you have to keep them hostage. But yeah, you need, so I don't disagree with that. You cause an impact. But I would say, when you focus on your pitch, think of the three things you're going to say, and you start to get into the three, and then you went into story time, right? Can't get into story time yet. Story time's for the conversation, right?
Yeah, look, I have trouble having a short conversation. I've had that for some time. So
It doesn't even, it's every entrepreneur's challenge, because it's your baby. And you could tell me every bit from everything. It's literally like having children when you say, the first time I put them on a bike and they took the training wheels off, you tell the story, right, of the evolution. And it's a very big challenge. Ray was guilty of it too. When we sat down to work together, he did a presentation for a prospect, and I was like, what the hell just happened? And because he was in his baby, and he was like, what do you mean? It's simple. And I'm like, it's not. I don't know what was us and what wasn't. And it was, and it's not that you're not saying the right things. It's you have to say the right things at the right time. And that's what it breaks down to, right? So no, other than, but you said it right initially. You were already on point. I think the only thing else to acknowledge is the fact you're a product, you're a platform, you're a technology. That's the only other differentiator people have to make sure they do, because sometimes people get confused as, are you a service or a product?
Got it.
Cool. So with that said, Sean, how do you do you think they're better prepared for the next stage?
They already have. I mean, when it comes out where 30 seconds is different than 5 minutes, right?
Yeah.
You guys are very thorough, and you're in a space like you saw the question. What define big data, right? It's a challenge to sales, marketing, data-driven results. Everything is a very convoluted conversation. You guys are very dialed into talking about the relationship piece, which I love, and the workflow within PSA to talk about service and the account management piece. I think that's important. Those are extremely important talk points. I think the only other question I would have in a 5 minute, if you only had 5 minutes, was how productive does that make somebody? What's that really lead to ultimately? What should I expect? What are the results I should expect from working with you guys? That's about the only thing I think we didn't get into, and that's because you had so much to talk about between the 3 levels you talk to. First, I love the first level being free. I would push the shit out of that to everybody. I would suck everybody in on that. In general, regardless of PitchIT, like I would suck everybody. I'd be promoting that everywhere, paid advertisements, everything. But just how you present it and how you come to market with it, it's important that you talk about what should I expect out of this as a customer. Like, what's the trend in your other clients?
Yeah, and we've definitely got some case studies that we can talk to about that. Increase in revenue, increase in meeting coverage, saving time. Increase in pipeline. Yeah,
exactly. I see the 2 areas I see is, and when it comes down to monetary, is saving time. I pay less for you to do the things that you shouldn't have to do to focus on your job, which in return helps you sell more to grow the business more, right? The only other question I have is integration wise, are you guys a QBR or do you integrate with QBRs? Which one are we?
We're not a QBR, but we provide the data to help a QBR. So we'll be providing more data to help someone have a great QBR, or if you're a QBR, if you like software tool, we'll give you a lot of data to help that QBR run better. So we're an input.
All right, I love that. I think it's important to talk about as well is that you're a holistic approach to this, because I think the challenge, and Ray will attest to this, because when we moved from ConnectWise managed to Salesforce, all the data and everything we had defined was pure misery to make sure it was good. It really was, because there's so much, right? And if you can tell me you're gonna help me aggregate this to have all the information I need at my fingertip as quick as possible in the right places, that's a win for me, especially in sales. Jesus, it is.
Yeah, real time, important.
Yeah.
All right. With that said, thank you so much, everybody. We appreciate you. Matt, David, where are you guys at next?
In terms of flying, up to Cairns for Evolve, or the business, you mean?
Everywhere.
Yeah. Where are we going to see you next? Online or in person? Where are we going to see you next?
You'll see us, I think, online for some more of this stuff. You'll see us in person as well at some ConnectWise stuff, and hopefully in the States as well, which would be great. And then you'll see us, I think, servicing more integrations as well. So popping up in different areas where, we're really a demand-led organization. So if people tell us what you need, and we will build for the people. Let us know.
Love it. All right. Go ahead, Sean.
I love, to prove my point, look at the last comment. Once you said free, I'm now in the process of making an account. If you can give somebody a good takeaway very quick on something that's so important, which is benchmarking, which is huge. The call to action better be strong after that. Like, you better call me and send me a beer and burger. All right.
There you go. So reach out to BeeCastle if you're into beers and burgers, or if you're into, data, meaningful data, and how to create better relationships. David, Matt, thank you so much. Those of you in the audience, thanks. Sean, what's PitchIT doing next? What do you guys got a ton of events going on?
Oh, dear Lord, dude. Yeah. We have, over the next couple of weeks, we have the other groups, the other thought leaders and sharers in the space, such as yourself, between Marvin B, Paco LeBron, Rick Smith. We're doing stuff with all those guys. Adam Bolensky. We have a ton of live streams and recordings coming out over the next, I think we have 4 of them coming out next week alone.
Awesome. That's crazy.
And we're in preparation of the actual preliminaries with Matt Solomon, because there's a lot to go over And these poor guys, these poor vendors getting beat up.
Yeah. And we have coming up, let's see what we got coming up here. We have MSP Community Live on Sunday, 7 p.m. Our next PitchIT Vendor Spotlight, Data Stream, and Grok Stream. It's a Streamapalooza on 7/25 at 1 p.m. Eastern. And on 7/25 at 7 p.m. Eastern, we have Wins and Losses with Jason Slagle and myself. Well,
Streamapalooza, I love that. That was good. That was witty. Yeah. I appreciate that. That was great.
I do my best. I do my best. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We will see you on the next one. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.
This has been a broadcast of the